Thanks, Glenn, and thank you also for allowing us to share, the Harsh experience here with everyone. So Harsh, very, very briefly, let me just give a bit of context. Harsh started out as a social experiment, really as an expression of gratitude, for me, given that, as I said, silence saved me, and I was so passionate and so determined to bring this into the workplace, given that I spent 30 years in the corporate sector. And so that's how it got started. We decided that, the best people to sort of share silence with us would clearly be the silence experts. In other words, the deaf or the hard of hearing. And at this point, I want to share with everybody, at least in Singapore, they don't like to be called hearing impaired because they are not impaired. They are deaf. Just like I'm a woman, Glenn's a man, they are deaf and we are hearing. And that's why we call them deaf. They are okay to be called hard of hearing, but not impaired, not hearing impaired. And so we brought them in to sort of work and designed a experience that really brings silence into the workplace environment, allowing two things to happen, which very much corresponds to today's talk, which is transforming yourself and transforming your organization. In transforming yourself, the Harsh experience will allow you to sort of get into that space of silence, to take that pause, to reconnect with yourself, and reflect, on especially in a workplace when we do it in our boardroom, allows you to know why you're here. So you start to go beyond the fact that you need a job and you're making a living, to thinking about, what am I actually contributing in this organization, right? I mean, what is the purpose and the meaning that comes from me working here? And in doing so, also reflect on your own personal journey, and hopefully then you refill your cup so that you can pour. The other part of transforming your organization really comes in the sense that, of building empathy, right? As you go through the experience, I hope you get some parts of that. I'm not going to give too much away in what the experience entails, but seeing how our deaf partners, sharing with them, Glenn yesterday, that they like to be called deafies, which is a very Aussie term for those of you who have lived in Australia or are Australians. So they like to be called deafies. So our deafies would be facilitating that session for you, would teach you a bit of their language, the sign language. And doing so, hopefully you start to see how the world is not as the world is as we are, because in an environment where no words needs to be spoken, and the deafies are the ones guiding you and leading you, who is disabled, right? Who is actually holding a disability when the environment is silent? So then it helps us to think about, the environment really enables us, and it helps us to build empathy, and what do we bring to the environment to enable not just ourselves, but everyone else around us. And so that in an organizational perspective, and as well as in the community, really talks about transforming the organization as well. So I'll pass it over to my teammate, Ning, and I also want to qualify, I've stopped running Hush for the last 2 years. The team is completely made up of what we call differently abled persons. So the deafies on the one hand, and also people who have lived experience with mental health conditions on the other. So over to you, Ning.
Hi, yeah, thank you, Antia, for the introductions. And thank you, Justin and Glenn, as well as Awaken Group, for this, amazing sharing. Yes, so today, we spoke about a very difficult, topics. So we are going to talk about emotions. So before, I kind of like, bring, hand you guys over to my deaf partners, I just, want to share a little bit that, in this, experience, you'll feel a little bit uncomfortable because we are talking about emotions, and this may not be something that's be very comfortable with a lot of people. So may I just encourage you, just to have an open mind and make yourself comfortable, and just let our deaf guide you through the experience. So may I just now humbly ask that you give your full presence in the next like 15, 20 minutes or so, just to give thanks to yourself and to take that much needed pause to renew, restore, rejuvenate, and even just to fill your cups. Okay, so right now I don't want to spend too much time, talking about Harsh. I just want to pass you to our deaf partners to bring you through the session. So now allow me to introduce my deafie, my deaf partner, Kok Wah. He will sign his sign name, Kok Wah. This is K in alphabet sign, and this is W. Yes, and we also have another partner, K. Unfortunately, her video is not working, but she will support K Kok Wah in doing the transcripting, so that will be a more inclusive, discussion. So right now, I'll just let Kok Wah bring you through the session. Now, may I invite everyone to hold up your cup of tea, your water, or your hot beverage. Take a small sip. Close your eyes. Breathe and reflect on this question. What challenges are you struggling with during this difficult time? What happened? What changes? How are you feeling? Slowly take your time. You have about 3 minutes. I'll play a ding sound when it's time. Now you may gently open your eyes and sit with your emotions for a while. And now you'll get Kok Wah to guide you through the next segment. We'd like you to use your non-dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your left hand to draw and express what comes up to you during the reflection. You have another 3 minutes. Express what emotions comes up for you during the reflection using your non-dominant hand. Now we would like you to switch hand. Just now you were using your non-dominant hand. Now we want you to switch hand. We want you to draw and express how do you support these emotions that comes up for you by using your dominant hand now. All right, welcome back, everyone. How was it for you guys? Can I just invite everyone just to turn on your video, because the deafies use their eye as their ear to listen, and they will love to engage with you. Could we now encourage everyone, if you are comfortable, just to on your video? Do that with this time constraint. But before we let the enter and the rest take over the sharing, wrapping up the session, I'd like Kok Wah to teach you a sign as a key takeaway for your personal well-being. So Kok Wah would like to teach you, I am enough. Shall we all come together to sign together? She's going to sign, teach us how to sign I, putting your finger on your chest. I am enough. There's a stroke across. So shall we all do it again? One more time again. I am enough. All right, thank you, everyone. So let me just pass the baton. By the way, this is clapping in deaf sign language because they cannot hear. This is a gesture to show your appreciation, and giving thanks to them. So okay, right now I just pass the baton to Glenn and Justin. Thank you.
Kok Wah and Ning, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So appreciated that, and so needed that as well. So thank you very much. So we have actually, we are just on time now. Now we do have another webinar next week, which is like part 2. So we'll be able to, which is more based around the mindset, taking that into the organization, into the workplace. So, so I know there's a question there before in regards to empathy within the workplace. So we'll be able to most certainly have a detailed and a deeper conversation next week in that space. So please join us again next week, next Tuesday, with both Anthea and Justin being involved, which is sensational to have them for part 2. Tell your friends, share the webinar details, because this is such an important topic now to be having with family and friends. So I just wanted to, so thank you very much, Anthea. Thank you, Justin, for your time today. Absolutely loved hearing from you, and so looking forward to next week already. It makes me smile and my heart sings. So thank you so much for your message that you're delivering. And just a call out, just, I know we've got a few people dropping off there. There is we do have a complimentary Strengths Finder coaching session that's available. We do have 2 spots. So if anybody's who's on the call today, on the webinar, interested in taking up that offer, we have a Strengths Finder coach within Awaken Group. And Strengths Finder, for those that aren't aware, is a positive psychology tool. So fitting our conversation today about thinking about when our strengths actually work for us, and how do we actually utilize and maximize our strengths in this time that we're all going through. So I've fallen in love with Strengths Finder over the last couple of years living in Singapore and working with organizations. So so there are 2 spots there. You just use the QR code or that the link that's there. So yes, and I think Joelle's just put it on there as well. Once again, thank you, Anthea. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everybody, for dialing in today. Love the interaction. Thank you, Kok Wah. That was sensational. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, stay safe and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.